Oh, I saw that what Art Creators is gonna do with their expedition projects. I think with rose-colored glasses in an ideal world where everyone's on the same page, everyone plays games the same way, it works. I think it's not gonna work, and before I get like beaten and exiled, my problem with it, I guess what it does is, so typically a wipe happens, everyone loses everything, and builds up, then stacks out, everyone loses everything. When wipes happen, player count spikes, and then slowly dwindles out, and then wipe, and then kind of that's how they get people to come back. It's kind of normally with an update, a new battle pass, they get more money, they can influx of cash because the new cool cosmetics, a little bit of money, and then kind of drive players, and that's how they kind of make their money. And then the flip side is no wipes, and they kind of gear scale cap, and then they just do updates and battle passes and stuff like that. It's kind of how they keep their players involved. So this game's like, no, no, let's do it in the middle. And so it's a choice wipe. You have 8 weeks, a season or whatever is 8 weeks. You build an escape pod. So you wipe. If you wipe, you have nothing, and then you build your escape pod. Eventually, 8 weeks hits, the very end hits, you decide to wipe, your account resets, you lose everything that isn't like paid for, or certain skins and meta progression that's just like leaderboard type stuff that I don't even know really what it means. You keep that, and then you wipe with nothing, and maybe you don't have to do quests and stuff like the intro tutorial, and then you basically start over again, and then you have a buff from wiping, which nobody knows what it is. Everyone's already like, oh, this game's gonna be broken because of somebody with a buff, even though they said they're not giving combat or power advantages. No, I think that's hard to do. I think no matter what, someone's gonna get a power advantage, and generally it's probably the person that doesn't wipe. So unless there's a way to like negate it so that like I wiped, so I only really see other wiped players, at least for the first week or two, and then we can kind of balance ourselves out with everyone else. It's gonna suck. Devil's advocate, I don't think it's gonna work. I think it's gonna work for like a wipe or two, and then everyone's gonna be like, the Steel Clubber dude's just always in my game. I can see content creators coming back at the beginning of a wipe, just thinking everyone's normal. Load in, first do really good, get get a rare recipe. I'm gonna escape now. Oh, there's a guy definitely looks like me because gear doesn't change based on what you're wearing armor wise. I'll shoot at him, turns around, has a fully kitted out machine like LMG, and laser beams me in 2 seconds. Okay, that's got to be a fluke. That's just got to be a sweaty guy. He's obviously been playing nonstop in his mom's basement. That won't happen again. And then just there's going to be more sweaty people that decide not to wipe or are in like the middle that didn't make it within the 8 week period. They're gonna be super sweaty. Even if think about it this way, 7 weeks. I'm so close. I'm so close. I don't have time. I don't have time. I didn't finish it. I gotta be stuck with this wipe for another 8 weeks. I can finish my expedition project, and then I'm just gonna be bored for the next 8 weeks because I wanted to wipe, but I can't. So I gotta sit here and just be bored. So not only did I not get the cosmetic that I would have gotten if I wiped, I'm stuck in the limbo of that. So there's like a middle of a middle, which is going to be even worse. Uh, Also, RMT sellers. It's a field day for them. RMT is a real money transaction. There's like websites that have accounts that'll go in. Normally, it's like bots or cheaters or just like they'll go in, they'll get as much gear as they can, get out, sell it to these companies, and then these companies then sell it to other players. And then so you'll say $5, say I want a loadout for $5. I pay $5. I get a machine gun, a shield, a bunch of nades and meds. Somebody hops into the game, parties up with me, drops everything. They go off into the ether. I take all that crap, and then I'm good for however long that lasts. And then that kind of cycle just continues. And then normally a wipe hits, everyone loses everything. All those RMT websites and all their backlog, their backstock is gone. So they got to rebuild that up, and so they're not as able to sell it as fast. And that's it's more balanced, at least for the first couple of weeks. And then all the sites and all those people and all the sweaty people have all their stuff, and you're like, well, okay. At least within the week or so, I got to kind of learn with everybody, and then eventually I got outclassed, and then at that point, already it's a skill issue where you're like, or a time issue, which makes sense, which is kind of why they're right in the middle. But I think right in the middle is worse than being on either side. So I don't know. I'm interested to see where this goes. I will honestly, I'll eat my words. I don't mind. I don't mind saying I was wrong. I'm going to give it 2 wipes. 2 expedition projects in. And people will be like, this isn't working. I'm going to say by the end of the second one, at least. Yeah. I give it to the end of the second one. When people are like, well, that was stupid. Unless they can kind of balance gear out a little bit, and because then you're like balancing like your high-end gear to like your low-end gear, because you know that when wipe hits, all those people with low-end gear are going to go up against high-end gear, so you want to keep the low-end gear fair enough that it's kind of competitive. But then the power fantasy people are like, why am I investing all this time and resources when a pistol can destroy me? It's kind of like, normally there's like that like cat and mouse of like, I'm a mouse, but I know I'm good enough as a mouse that I can take out a cat, and so I'm going to do that. Which also begs the question of people that wipe, if they're good enough to wipe, they're probably good enough to take on a cat, and so they can just get back to where they were in like a week or like a couple days because they're good enough to just like, I fought that dude, he was full stacked, I'm full stacked, and then just build off that and never actually be struggling. It's only the people that are kind of bad to just average, they'll struggle, and so they're the ones that ultimately get screwed and probably will ultimately get bored if there's no friction. So I guess, I don't know if I've done it yet because I've recorded this so many times. I've always been of the opinion that don't give a negative feedback without having an idea of a different way to do it. Which by no means am I saying that this is what they should do or how they should do it. But if they're going to do expedition projects, in my world or thoughts, every 2 or 3 expedition projects, a mass swipe. Everyone gets swiped back to nothing. And then maybe there's like massive cataclysmic arc explosion. Everyone just get back to nothing. And then you build up expedition project buffs, blah, 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 blah. Then boom, everyone's gets smacked back down to nothing. Other thing, maybe after an expedition project has happened, all the gear in the game that is created as of that expedition project gets reset, or gets like, I don't want to say nerfed because that's a power difference, but like the repair value is halved, so it's like rusty or something. Or if it's lost in raid, it's lost, and it breaks. But if you bring it out and it's broken, you get currency for it, or experience for it, or something to like flip it over, so those people that do get that crap and bring it out get rewarded, to kind of take the bloat out of the to balance everyone's gear out a little faster. What else could they do? If they're really trying to respect people's time and that's why they're doing it, I don't want to say split servers, because that just splits player bases, which only works if the game's really popular, and eventually it fizzles out and they can't stack both, so they kind of just compromise and normally stack the wipe side more than the non-wipe side, to keep the tension. What else? What else? What else? What else? What else? Maybe make wipes not full wipes. And by that I mean like the people that don't want to wipe, only their gear gets wiped. Or like turned into tokens to kind of like say the shotgun's worth 10. You get five worth of tokens where you can take your 2 shotguns, your what was 2 shotguns and buy 1 shotgun, kind of like to mitigate that little bit. And then those, like if you pick it up, it's worth the 5 tokens, and kind of they're separated, like they're special, they're old world or whatever. And do that every, like I said, every 6 months or something. Just kind of reset the economy back to nothing. Don't have a player driven economy. That's going to be a big one. If they have a player driven economy, it's going to suck a little bit, because people that are good enough are just going to be good enough to get max geared and probably get bored real fast. That's the other thing that I've been like contemplating is no wipes are cool in theory until people get bored. So unless you have like another stick or another carrot, I should say, that stick's gonna get real heavy real fast. Because if I miss a wipe by a couple days, I'm gonna feel really bad. So watch, if this doesn't work and they try to like fix it, it'll be maybe you can wipe every 4 weeks, and then that way there's like that opportunity, like the storm clears and there's an opportunity for me to wipe to get those progression and start the new one. But then everyone's kind of split, and yeah, I don't know, man. Like it's rose colored glasses. I think that's basically oh, this might work. And they say it's not a silver bullet, which it's not. And wipes aren't a silver bullet, and this isn't a silver bullet. It's which ammo is less lethal and which ammo hurts less as a general player base, not just the casual people that you want to keep bringing back. Because most of these games, believe it or not, they're held together by content creators and sweaty people. That's kind of who drives these things. The reason that the Juicy Loot guys exist is because they were Juicy Loot, and they are good enough to carry that Juicy Loot, or they got lucky enough to get that Juicy Loot. If that doesn't exist, and there's like those like peak, basically boss fights of these other people that are just like over geared and don't exist, the game's gonna like get kind of boring. Especially if everybody I fight is Juicy Looted because they didn't wipe. Like it's kind of like there's like, so I'd say it goes both ways, but it leads better to just wipe, because you split your player base a lot less. In that, if you're doing like the geared gate, where if you have this much gear you can play here, if you don't have this much gear you can't play here, you split your player base. And then you do what's that stupid game that I really enjoyed playing? Not Arena Breakout Infinite does the money gate, which I've seen some of like the craziness. It's like, that looks really stupid. I'll stick with my low level gear in my low level game. What's that other game? It's gonna bother me. Delta Force. That took forever to find. Delta Force kind of does the gear gating and the, yeah. So I don't know. We'll see. I would love to be wrong. I don't think I am wrong. I would love to be wrong. Doom and gloom. I recorded it. It only took 4 hours of 2 days of trying to just like articulate my feelings and thoughts, and ultimately I want to know what other people's thoughts are. I've only seen really good stuff. That's why I was like, I gotta be contrary and the devil's advocate, even though I really do believe that it's not going to be ideal. Someone always loses, and right now it's looking like the core extraction shooter group is going to be the loser. The casuals are going to win. The ones that want to play a night, a week, and just always have their stuff are going to win. I don't know if they're enough to monetize the game, because I can't be like, hey, yo, friend, want to come check out this wipe? Everyone has nothing. Let's be all fair on the same page, at least for a couple days. No, I gotta be like, hey, I wiped. I have nothing but Timmy over here. I guess Chad would be the equivalent. Timmy's the weak one. 2 Timmys and versus like 17 thick, juicy Chads that don't ever wipe or paid for power. Which literally you can pay for power with RMT sellers. So that's the other thing. You may not pay for power when you wipe. They are paying for power for sure if they decide to buy something for $5 from an RMT seller. But let me know.